All right, planet Earth. It is Epic Opinions number 2. I'm Nick. It's 11:19 a.m. We're in Colorado, and here's Thursday's Epic Opinions. Boom. Let's see. First thing on the list. We just finished up the art show over at local Relic Brewing Company. I gotta go pick my stuff up. They had a really good show going on. They're gonna start a new one, I think, here in January. But if you're in Colorado Springs, stop by local Relic Brewing Company and grab you a pint of the Ariana Imperial Brute Smash IPA. You'll find a link to the Instagram on the bottle. You'll find a link to the bottle on the Instagram. It's too easy. WSA Official, at WSA Official on the Instagram. Let's see. And second thing on the list. It's 2019. So that means a whole new year needs a whole new set of plans. For this episode of the podcast is going to be a bunch of pictures, stuff all from these last few months of 2018. Just a bunch of random stuff. Should be mostly Colorado. I don't think I put anything in there from before the summertime, so it'll be pretty recent. Let's see, new plans for 2019. We're working on wintertime mountain photo collection for the world, for the universe to see. That'll be good. In a couple weeks, going to be roaming around hard in the mountains. It's going to be a good time. Taking pictures of the sky. Then we got the Golden Fights, Cage Wars 34 in Grand Junction, Colorado. We're going to tie it all together. We're going to roam around, take some pictures. We're going to stop by and watch some people fight each other in their underwear. And it's going to be a good time. Go back to taking pictures afterwards. Get a lot of miles in. Have a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it for that. Let's see. Brings us right into, speaking of fights. Let's see. January, we got Bellator's ending their heavyweight Grand Prix. Fedor Emelianenko is going to fight Ryan Bader to decide who the new heavyweight champion is. Very interesting. There's a bunch of other fights on this card. Aaron Pico versus Karai. Before I say his name wrong, halfway said it already. Let's see. Ricky Bandejas is fighting. He had a great last outing. Let's see. Aaron Pico versus Henry Corrales. This is fucking gonna be the fight of the night, I think. That's gonna be a short one. Very short. Tape your eyelids open. Rafael Lovato Jr. is supposed to fight. And then you got the main event there. Ryan Bader and Fedor Emelianenko going at it. Then you got, let's see, that's the 26th. This is fucking horrible. That's the 26th of January this month. Boom. Then you got the weekend before, Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw. They're arguing over the 125-pound championship, which I think is going to be around for a while. I don't think they're going to get rid of that. I was just reading they signed a couple guys to fight a few more fights at 125. So I don't think that's going to be anything that's going anywhere anytime soon. And then I was listening to the Below the Belt podcast, and they were talking about a video of Max Holloway where he's coaching Brian Ortega a little bit, telling him where to put his hands, to block his shots. That's what it looked like to me. Here's how you defend what I just threw at you. Max is the gangster of all the gangsters of all time. And they keep talking about this Conor McGregor Khabib rematch. I don't understand why they want to rematch the least. Uh, I mean, shit, the most one-sided fight of 2018. Uh, so fast. I don't think that's. I think the only rematch that Conor should have on the plate right now is Max Holloway. You know, Conor beat Aldo once and then left the division. Max beat everybody up, beat Aldo twice, defended the belt twice now. And he's going to fight at 155 eventually. So it would be a perfect segue for him to go into 155. A perfect comeback, let's see, redemption fight for Conor. And then, in the meanwhile, you've got Tony versus Khabib, which has to happen. If it doesn't happen, I don't see why that 155-pound title is very much disputed. I really don't understand why they say undisputed. It is still very much disputed. Sorry, my dog is drinking water. You good? You good now? Yeah? Okay. Tony and Khabib needs to happen. Let's see. Then what you could do? Ray Janelle, Ally Quinta versus Dustin Poirier, and the winner of that fights the winner of Tony and Conor, Tony and Khabib, excuse me, and then the winner of that fight fights the winner of Max versus Conor. I think Max versus Conor is the perfect either pathway for Conor to redeem himself, start redeeming himself, and then the perfect segue for Max into 155. I don't see what else would be relevant at that point. If none of that happens, I don't see why Conor should fight anybody else. I don't see. He's had 2 fights now at lightweight, and he's batting 500. He's winning half the time, and I mean, he's super famous, so they make a ton of money, and they're gonna do WWE, but with real fights now. It looks like that's what it looks like. But hopefully, Max versus Conor at 155. Poirier versus Ray Janelle. And then the winner of that fights the winner of Tony and Khabib. And the winner of that fights Conor or Max. And then, there's your script. There's your fucking 2019 script for the 155-pound division. And everybody else can just fight each other and argue over who's next. Let's see. And then, so John Jones just beat Daniel Cormier. No, fuck, what am I talking about? Just beat Alexander Gustafsson. And so I noticed they redid the rankings and put Daniel Cormier above John Jones. I think that's just to give a little poke, give a little prod at John and get him interested in fighting and get him asking for the fight. And it's always funny, the rankings. Everybody talks about who the greatest fighter is. And I was going down the rabbit hole. I have these conversations with people who it's a hard conversation to argue against. John hasn't lost. Even the one tick that comes up on his record as a loss in the loss column, it shouldn't be a loss. But I went down the rabbit hole looking at some stuff, and some facts started sticking out to me. John Jones has had, let's see, 1 3-fight year and 1 4-fight year, I believe, if I can find the paper, 2009 and 2011. Totally awesome, totally impressive. Fuck it. But I mean, damn. Now we'll talk about he fights once a year now, pretty much once every 2 years. He knows he's always suspended, so he's got a year notice on his fights, and doesn't have to worry about Dana White going on ESPN talking about, oh, John doesn't take fights. He just went on TV talking about Jose Aldo. Oh, we don't have a main event for the ESPN card. Oh, we wanted Jose to do it, but he can't do 5 rounds. You telling me there's nothing out there for 3 rounds for Jose Aldo, and why you have to do it at 5 rounds? It's whatever. You're sticking to some of your decisions. Let's see, but look at Anderson Silva's record. He fought 4 back-to-back years, 2000 to 2004, three fights a year. 2006 fought two fights, not in the UFC. Then fought Chris Lieben and Rich Franklin. Had himself a 4-fight year, and then had 2 more 3-fight years after that. And the only test he failed for was a couple years after he was champion, recovering from a gnarly leg injury later in his career. I'd say that's easier to explain why there's some performance enhancers in your blood than Jeff Nowitzki's minuscule powders in the air theory with John Jones. It's just so much more, so many more fights, and harder. It's so much harder to fight 12 times in 4 years rather than John's fought like 3 times in the last 4 years. I'd have to look that up. I probably shouldn't record that and put that on the internet before checking that fact. But so many more fights. Now, look at Michael Bisping. Look at Michael Bisping's fucking record. He beat Anderson. So let's check him out. Fought 4 fights and won 4 fights in 6 weeks to get into the UFC. Then had himself 5 3-fight years and a very large number of 2-fight years. In the time that John Jones, and less time than John Jones needed to serve any of his suspensions, pick one, Michael Bisping fought and beat Anderson Silva, knocked out Luke Rockhold, and beat Dan Henderson. Oh, and not to mention, he's been fighting, he fought 2013 to 2017, legally fucking blind, using one eye. This guy, crazy. Who's the best of all time? I don't know, but I really don't think it's John. The saying should be, John should have been the best of all time. I'll bring it up again. It's awesome watching Barry hit home runs into the water, and then you turn 19 and realize nobody else can do it. It kind of ruins that conversation. Is Barry Bonds better than Babe Ruth? Whoa. Barry Bonds' fucking dietitian Victor Conte says probably not. Anyway. Entertainment is entertainment. Let's go.